Hey guys, I am Ash Maczko with Squarriors, and you're checking out Legends of Tabletop.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Ash. How's it going? Glad to have you back on again.
It's going awesome actually. Hanging out here in Cincinnati, getting ready for the Cincinnati Comic Expo this weekend.
Nice, very cool. And the Bengals and the Ravens are playing behind you at the stadium.
The
We got a
the
shot from your window.
yeah, the Bengals are playing. I don't know if you will see that, but yeah, they are out there right now playing those Ravens. Once we're off of this call, I'll probably have it on the TV.
Yeah, me too. I forgot that I forgot football was already. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Eagles gave me anything to be super excited about last week, other than getting a win. So,
But we've got our whole Cold War crew doing fantasy football for the first time this year. So everybody's been kind of watching the games. And actually, as soon as we got here in the hotel, everybody was working on their rosters and everything.
nice. That's cool. All right, you guys have a new Kickstarter going.
Yes.
There's literally a shit ton of stuff that's available. There's pins, there's T-shirts,
Yep.
hardcover books, trade paperbacks, enamel pins, like soup to nuts.
Yep. And we also got, I think you said the shirts, but we've got the Squarriors, the card game that you can get like directly through the Kickstarter now. And so far, five different variant cards. Squarriors, the card game cards that are available on the Kickstarter. I haven't even had a chance to look at it today, but I think we're around 75%. And I think we got like 24 days, 25 days, something like that left. So we're hanging in there pretty good. It's for the uh, mostly to get the second series of Squarriors out, the summer series, to get that wrapped up and finished so we can get on to the third series.
Sure, very cool. All right, so there is a third series already in the works then.
Oh yeah, definitely. Things have been going crazy because with Ashley's schedule, sometimes it's tough to get the pages in and everything for Squarriors. But with the Kickstarter, we're kind of like really locking in some time for once, where we're going to be able to get the money that we need, get the time that we need, and just have Ashley just get Squarriors done, get the next two books out on time, early and everything, and then get loaded up on the fall series that'll be coming out early next year.
Cool, cool. Now you guys pretty much release like quarterly if you're able. Is that kind of how it's running?
That's kind of how we started. The intention was to do it quarterly. We're not even quite hitting that right now.
Hmm.
Ashley's got a lot of covers and a lot of books she's working on. So we've been kind of doing about one issue a year of
Oh,
Squarriors right now,
okay.
but two issues a year. So that's why we got the Kickstarter going. We're hoping to get another issue out this year, and then right at the beginning of the year, hopefully January or February, have the series wrap up for summer.
Okay. I mean, because you guys are indie, so I guess that's not like completely like, oh, I didn't get my, every week or every month, like, people who do Batman, Superman, superhero stuff. Is that a little bit more to be expected, with an indie comic? I mean, do you get any kind of like pushback, like, oh, it's been forever, what's going
Oh,
on? And how come?
everybody wants the book out. We want the book out,
Yeah.
and it's just there's a big gap between doing the indie stuff and doing our labor of love stuff and doing the real getting paid stuff.
Yeah.
And it's tough to keep the balance. You need to get paid, but then you want to work on your indie stuff. And I don't know, our fans, our friends have always seemed pretty cool. I think that the product ends up being worth it. The artwork's incredible. Every panel, there's a reason it takes so long to get a Squarriors book out. We
Mhm.
put a lot into it. So I think at this point, I think there's a little bit of a disappointment that, that they can't, that none of us can get Squarriors issues every month. I would love that. But, I think they're good when they come out, and, our fans, I think, are pretty accepting of that at this point. We've got a quality book, and
Right.
it takes a while to get out. It's just what it is.
Right. And when you enjoy something, right, it's like, if you're gaming, you're like, oh, I only get the game, once a week or once a month. It's that interstitial time. It's when you can't do it that makes it that much better when you get it. So like,
Oh,
if you've got to wait a year, it sucks. But when you get it, you're like, oh, it was so good. When's the next one now?
and really, hopefully, like with this Kickstarter and with just kind of starting to settle, that Ashley's schedule starting to settle, we're hopefully going into like 2019, maybe be able to get back into like a quarterly release schedule. So that's kind of like the long term plan with getting Kickstarter locked in, and just getting Ashley the time blocked in. The stuff's written, there's pages ready to go.
Right.
We just got to get them drawn.
It sucks having to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, you happen to pay. Yeah. Sometimes you forget that all factor in there. It's like, yeah, we still have to eat when we're doing this. We still have to have a roof sometimes.
Yeah.
We have to have gas to get out to Cincinnati.
Right. Well, I mean, her artwork, I know I said it last time, her artwork is just, it's amazing. I mean, is it like the cover on Summer 3 with the Rottweiler? It's like, you pull that up and you're like, wow, what the fuck? Like, wow. I mean, that's why she's doing covers for, for Marvel and everything else, right? I mean, like she's got to be in pretty high demand.
Yeah, and she's got the 2 Marvel monthly covers now. She's doing Dr. Aphra and she's doing X-23. We've tried to kind of pull back on a lot of the variants and all that stuff again, so we could start finishing out Squarriors. So, she did a lot this year, for a lot of other publishers and things. But I think this last quarter of this year, it's going to be mostly Squarriors and just her main monthly books.
Okay, cool. That's good news for everybody.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. We'll take a hard left here.
Sure.
So like when you guys are out at a convention together, because we have this weird, dichotomy with, women can't play games or shouldn't play, like whatever the stupid nonsense is. So like when you guys are out together, do you ever see it where she's, maybe not given the same, respect or props? So somebody comes up to the table and it's like, I want to talk to you because you're the guy, where she's like, sitting at the table, like, well, what about like, look at this I just sketched out in like 5 minutes,
that I don't think that's been the case so much. I think, sometimes there's, maybe people don't understand that she's the artist. That certainly comes up. We'll have people come up to the table and think that, I'm doing the artwork or I'm the artist. And I'm not sure what they think she's doing. But, I think, and usually when people find out that Ashley's the artist, I think people are pretty excited about that. I think that goes really well, actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's stupid that you even have to talk about it or bring it up like as a point of like, hey, why are we not all being treated the same way? But Yeah, no,
it's been pretty cool for us.
Cool, very good. That's good to hear. Speaking of paying bills, do you have like a regular like 9 to 5 thing that you're doing, or is it all of the various projects you Cold War and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's really the 9 to 5 Warriors and Cold War. And that's 9 to 5. That's more like 9 till 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I do Squarriors and Cold War completely full time at this point. Have been for a little over 3 years now, I think. Just focused on that.
Yeah, I mean, like long term, like pie in the sky, like that would be it for everybody. It's just to kind of work on that.
That is definitely where we're working. Yeah, I mean, actually, we've got some neat things coming down the pipes that hopefully will get us pretty close to that too, relatively soon.
Cool, very cool. All right. So getting into the book a little bit. Would you consider Squarriors to be a post-apocalyptic series or something different?
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. I mean, it's kind of hard to put it quite in those words because, part of the whole story of Squarriors is uncovering why the animals here and the humans aren't. So sometimes by calling it a post-apocalyptic, it almost kind of infers something that's not necessarily known. But I think that's an easy way to put it. It's certainly kind of a dystopian world, if nothing else.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's fair. So do you have like your own internal canon? Like, do you know why the animals have become sentient? Is that something that we're ever going to find out, or is that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're definitely gonna find that out. That's part of, I would say, the early story. You'll start, I mean, the readers already have a lot of clues, but a lot of that stuff will finish up come the end of the first opening series. So once fall's done, towards the end of winter, everything should come together, and the readers will know a lot more.
Oh,
All of that's already written and out there. It's just probably going to be a while before anybody sees it.
all right. I mean, that's fair. Wonder is it, like in a zombie movie, it's like that sort of unknown is kind of like, like the heavy trope. So I didn't know if you were like gonna tease, and never quite reveal.
Uh, yeah, I don't like that. I feel like that's kind of a cheap way to write. I want to give the reader what they want to get.
All right. And in the card game, the last Kickstarter card game was successful. You guys are completely uh, fulfilled and all that.
Oh yeah, the Squarriors, the card game Kickstarter, after many, many months of bumps and falls and crazy things. Yeah, that all got taken care of several months ago now. Everybody's orders got fulfilled. Not only that, we did not have a single refund or anything after all of that. Not one person
Nice.
ended up, wanting to back out after all that time or anything. I think we did a pretty good job of keeping everybody updated, and yeah, everything got out to everybody, and we've had really good responses. So yeah, I think the first wave of Squares the card game was really successful.
Cool. Now, did the Kickstarter for the card game present any special difficulties compared to the comics? Because obviously the first book was Kickstarted. Was there like a steeper learning curve to be like, oh shit, well we didn't think about that?
Well, it was our first Kickstarter period because all the other previous Squarriors one Kickstarters and everything were all done by Devil's Due, who's also
Oh,
doing the current Squarriors one. So really, the Squarriors the card game Kickstarter was our first Kickstarter. It was the first time we logged in and created our own rewards and worked all that, and really so far the only time that we've had to do it. So yeah, there was tons of things that we thought we were going to understand and things that we thought were going to be really until we got in there and started digging around. But Kickstarter's good. It was good to us. We
okay.
might do it again.
All right. Well, that's good. With summer in the works now, do you think we're going to see, an expansion that maybe is like just a summer pack for the card game? Do you have any sort of, that kind of stuff in mind as far as like seasonal things or, maybe specific, groups or tie-ins?
Yep. We've got an expansion in the works right now that's kind of like a dual deck. That's our next expansion that'll be coming up for Squarriors, and it's kind of a in between spring and summer. And then summer itself will have a full box set again, like spring had. That'll have all the characters and events and strategic moments and places and everything from the summer series, and you'll be able to add that to your current Squarriors game.
Cool. Very cool. All right. And you said everything was good, so that's good. Going through my list of stuff in here. You had said the last time we were on that you had started gaming at a young age, and had I forget, it was like a cyber cop thing with like Hot
Cyber
Wheels
cops.
cars and all that kind of
Did I
stuff.
tell you about cyber cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. That's funny because like Cyber Cops wasn't even like an early game. That's kind of funny that I told you about that one. But yeah, that was a game I had designed with Hot Wheels cars and a couple of like Hot Wheels cityscapes that you could build together and drive around. Yeah, man, just games forever. Just making so many games.
So what was
Cyber
sort of like the impetus for you to kind of get into? I mean, did your parents do games like, hey, we all do Candyland and Parcheesi and that kind of stuff? But was there sort of like a moment or like a turning point where you're like, hey, this is a cool thing?
Yeah, not really like that. We didn't really play too many games at our house. That wasn't kind of like the thing. What really got me started in wanting to design games, uh, during summers, I would go spend the summer with my grandparents in Chicago. Uh, for about a month or two. And at my grandma's house, there was just literally nothing to do. The only thing my grandma had, all she had was tons of decks of cards because she used to go to the casino all the time. So she would come back with like those decks of cards that had like the hole drill through them, so you could tell they were used in a casino. And she literally had hundreds of decks of cards. So go in there, I mean, literally kindergarten, first grade, I would play with these decks of cards. That was the toy I would play with at my grandma's house. And at some point, I just started coming up with ideas that, the king is not just a king, he's a guy that can do something. So then I would start writing these ideas down in like notebooks, and I would come up with these games where like just a deck of cards would be this complete game I could play by myself. And I would have all these different notebooks of all 19, this is long before there was Magic or, anything like that. I was already wanting to design, tabletop games like that. Specifically, really at that point, like games you could play by yourself.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, as kids, we all have that, that access to that storyteller and that, that sort of wonder, you're doing G.I. Joes or dolls or Barbies, whatever it is, like you're inherently, I think as children, we're storytellers. And I guess as you get older and, more responsibilities, it kind of gets beaten out of a lot of people. What's kind of like what's been your ability to kind of like hold on to that, right? Because like you've been in bands and you're the game guy, you're designing games and comic books. Like what's been sort of like the lamppost for you to kind of like key on to sort of keep that? Oh no, did you freeze or are you thinking?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think I lost him.
Oh, there you are.
I kind of, yeah, I've got you again. Do you have me again?
Yeah, I got you again.
All right, I think I've got you. Okay. What was the last question again?
Oh no.
Let's see if we can start that back up so it's not with a with that big glitch in there. I think I got you working now. Looks good
Okay.
again.
Well, I was going to say, I think, for a lot of us, growing up as children, we're inherently storytellers, right? You're playing G.I. Joes or Barbies or, you're making, games out of cards and that sort of stuff. And,
Right.
sort of as we get older and we get more responsibilities, some of that light is kind of like tamped down and some people just like lose it altogether. But you had said before that you've been in bands and you're designing games and now you're doing the card games and comic book and all, like you've been able to like nurture this sort of creative spark that you have. What's kind of been your guidepost or like your lighthouse for that to sort of like be able to just kind of follow that all the way through?
Yeah, well, and kind of going back with that, it's something I hadn't thought about too much. There was really no point that I wasn't making games. It's just this weird thing that, I mean, through different jobs, at jobs, during band times, on tour, it's just been something I've just always kind of done as like a hobby, just something on the side. Anytime I had a notebook or a pencil, and again at work, people have no idea how many jobs I had. I would sit there at a desk making games in a little notebook that nobody knew about and would just have that stuff running, in the background, playing little things at, different jobs and stuff. So I guess it was just kind of always there. There's just this creative feeling of just wanting to just always, yeah, just writing, creating something, I guess. Yeah. Because I haven't had to look for it. It's always there.
That's really cool. I mean, that's amazing that you're able to do that, right? Because like some of us, like so you get that and you kind of lose it, and some of us are able to come back to it later, and to just be able to follow that thread is yeah, it's really cool.
I feel pretty good about it. It's just when you kind of just have a few things you just really enjoy and really want to do, if you can figure out a way to do those, I mean, that's pretty much everything right there.
Yeah, yeah. Do you still do music at all, or no?
Oh yeah, no, we still have a band. Actually, we're
Nice.
working on going and recording and getting some more studio stuff done. Uh, yeah, we practice, yeah, still regularly, once a week at least. We actually just rearranged our living room and our studio to kind of better be set up to record and do some things. So yeah, we're still doing all that stuff.
That's awesome. How do you find the time, I guess, is the big
It,
question.
it's all about the scheduling. It's all about just locking in, an hour or two here that you're always there and you always do that and you cut everything out for that time and you get that done, you get into the next thing. That's definitely how we do, that's how we kind of keep band stuff working. And though again, even that gets, moved around. We're supposed to have band practice tomorrow, but I'll be in Cincinnati. So
Yeah. Do you feel like that's all kind of on the same continuum from, playing music to designing games to, writing for Squarriors? I mean, is it all just kind of encompassed on the same?
it's just all writing.
Yeah.
Even with games, I think like, unless you've made a couple games, you probably wouldn't see it that way. But it's like when you make a game, you're just writing a story. There's some mechanics and things to it, but it's still just writing an adventure or something. It's all the same. It's just writing. You're writing music, you're writing comic books, you're writing games, you're just creating, building that universe.
Cool. With that being said, do you have any desire to sort of spin Squarriors off into like a novelization? Is that something we may see in the future?
No, I mean, I certainly like the idea of probably eventually doing a novel. I've got a bunch of little things that I've been writing. I don't really know about doing Squarriors, in that format. I mean, I think the thing that makes Squarriors so amazing is the visuals,
Sure.
is the art. I think if you take that out of it, you don't have Squarriors anymore, really.
Right. Okay. No, I can see that. I mean, the art is.
Yeah, that's kind of like what that is. That's just as much of Squarriors as everything else. So yeah, I think that ought to stick with it.
Okay. Well, and let me ask you this. I don't think I asked you this last time. Why squirrel? Like, why the particular animals that we see? The majority being squirrels.
Uh, yeah, it's really all about every woodland creature. That's the idea. It's like I'm into all kinds of animals. I think specifically with Squarriors, it was the idea to start kind of with this really small specific thing and then just let it kind of unfold and blow out into like this big, because when you think Squarriors, you think it's just squirrels. You think it's just fighting squirrels until you get into the book and you see that it's other tribes and other animals. It's getting bigger and bigger and it's taking up more of the planet and all these things are going. And uh, beyond that, those squirrels are just awesome.
They're badass, that's for sure.
They're cool. They work really well as like little warriors because like, they can kind of almost hold weapons. They almost have the thumbs going and stuff. And,
Right.
they just, I think just naturally work as a cool, I don't know, humanized animal warrior.
Well, you put a little vest on them or a little piece of armor or something.
Yeah.
They got like razor blade. Like, it really fits. They can stand up and stuff.
Well,
And
and it's because they're on their hind legs so often. It gives
yeah,
them such a look like they're already humanized in a way. They're already ready to go to war.
right. And I mean, they're ubiquitous, right? So I mean, like everywhere. Like I live in the desert, we still have squirrels.
Still have squirrels. No, and this is something that I bring up a lot of times in these interviews and stuff. It's just like, and everybody has a squirrel story. Like every show that we are at, people always have a squirrel story. They don't know they have a squirrel story until they meet us and they
Yeah.
see Squarriors and these squirrel things, and all of a sudden I had this squirrel story. I had this squirrel trapped here, or it was in my house, and this thing, and I helped him do this, and that's kind of the other funny thing with squirrels. Yeah, just there's some kind of connection where everybody's got a squirrel story.
Yeah. I do too.
See, everybody has a squirrel story.
Yeah. So have you ever considered like a one shot spin off, like a Squarrior zombie miniseries or superheroes or any kind of like variant sort of off kilter
Uh,
kind of thing?
Definitely want to do some more like spin-off type things, but not really like, not like what if style, not like superhero versions, but more like there's some other splinter stories that I'd like to, tell people and I'd like to get into. So there's definitely going to be at some point, I hope, just some branches of Squarriors where you can kind of get into a couple of different types of stories outside of just, the main arc.
Okay, cool. Following individual characters around, telling
Yeah,
more personal
something,
stories.
something like that, or just some other tribes and just another area that eventually can kind of connect into the story, or yeah, just maybe some sort of solo story that really focuses on a couple of specific characters on a specific quest on a specific mission or something.
Okay, cool. And we'll throw out again. People aren't sure. It's available through Diamond. If it's not
Yep.
at your local comic shop, you could tell ask the owner to order it, and be able
Oh
to
yeah.
get it in. You might have to wait a little bit before
Hopefully not, but yeah. You can always have more from Diamond. You can always go to devilsdue.net and coldwar.us too if you just want to go straight to us and order.
Oh no, you're a robot. Oh, there's so much editing I have to do now.
Wait.
Are you back? There you are.
Hey, all right. Are we back?
We're back.
All right.
And it's also available on Comixology, right? You can get the digital download.
I believe all of our stuff is on Comixology as well.
Okay, cool. So because of time constraints and stuff like that, I'll tell a quick story. Back in like 94, 95, I was dating a girl. Her name was Dawn. We eventually got married and then we got divorced. So boom, whole story. But we walked into the comic shop and there was a book by Joseph Michael Lensner and the name was Dawn. Redhead, white, course, full cover. And I'm like, well, shit, I guess I'll have to get that, right? Like, for no other reason than the name and the cover. And it was a very similar style, like that, painted, like full artwork bleed.
Oh,
And, again, takes a shit ton of time. And I guess he eventually said, well, okay, this is going to take forever, and went to like a more comic, like traditional comic book style of art. Is that something you potentially see happening with Squarriors to like condense time down, or is that like an off the table, like this is what we do? And
no, this is it. It's something we've talked to our publisher and other publishers about actually, but this is what Squarriors is going to be. If you want like a different version of Squarriors, it's just going to have to be probably a different book altogether.
Yeah.
Again, like we kind of mentioned earlier, it's like that's half the book right there. It's like that's what Squarriors is. Squarriors is a book that's that's painted. That's every panel is everything we've got goes into every panel, and
right.
I don't think you can do that with other styles. Not in the same way, and have it work with Squarriors. So
yeah.
That being said, I also love Joseph Michael Lensner. So since we're bringing him up, shout out to Joseph Michael Lensner and Christina. Hi, guys.
Yeah, I met him at Wizard World, or I think it was Wizard World in Philly. I was like, here, I got a bunch of books. If you could sign these, and like, oh, I'll buy that. And can you sign that thing too? And
I believe they are here in Cincinnati with us. We'll be seeing them this weekend.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, I will say when the book did take a different turn, it was kind of like a letdown. Like, it was still written well, and the themes and whatever, like all the stuff he was doing was still very cool. But like, when you go to buy that new series and it's like, oh, that's different. But yeah, whatever. So for you guys, for like independent comic book artists, so like for me as a podcaster, the community itself is pretty close knit. If I have a question about something, I can email somebody, or I jump in a hangout with somebody, like, hey, how do you guys do this, or what kind of microphone are you using, or whatever it is. Do you find the indie comic scene to be as supportive and helpful as that, or is it still kind of more like this? I'm doing this thing, and you do your thing, and like
I don't. I guess I probably don't interact with other comic creators as much as I should. I'm kind of in my own little circle, mostly with like the guys from our publisher with Devil's Due. And like with all those people, we've had nothing but good experiences. Like anytime I've had some questions or wanted to do something, I always can message a lot of those guys. Really outside of that little group though, I'm not sure. I haven't had to interact with them too much, to be honest. I see people at shows and everything, but I don't really usually have to contact them about any kind of like industry things because I'm kind of in my own little unit doing those things. So my experience has been all right as far as I can tell.
Okay, all right, that's cool. I wonder, like, we're friends with a lot of people in weird fiction, horror and stuff too, and it seems their community is again very supportive, and everybody's friends on Facebook, and you see them at all the conventions and stuff, and it's a very sort of open and welcoming thing, and it's kind of that's sort of a niche market. So I just wondered whether or not like comics would be a similar fashion.
I think everybody's just working so hard. I don't know if we've noticed.
Yeah. All right, so probably not going to see a Squarriors novel. Do you think that it's something? Well, at least for maybe.
There's other novels I'd want to do before that. That's for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. What I was going to say is, do you feel like it would translate to something like a movie or a TV show, animated series, something along those? Like Netflix will buy anything, so I think you probably got it in.
Netflix should definitely buy Squarriors then. So yeah, I think I can't imagine that there's any creator out there making things that wouldn't want the opportunity to make it into a film or into a Netflix series or something. So absolutely, I think that's without question would be something really cool to see happen. Maybe, who knows? Okay. I don't know.
but no overtures in that direction. You guys haven't kind of gone down that.
The very, very little bit we've kind of looked into it, we like through it with our publisher and everything. We haven't seen much out there that interested us, just yet. But I don't know. Devil's Due does a lot of things. They've got a lot of, I don't know, irons in the fire. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, something came down more sooner than later.
That's cool. All right. Something to look forward to. Let's see. I actually have shit written down in a little notebook too. I didn't even get a chance to put it on my sheet. All right. Let's see here. So you're at a convention this weekend. How many conventions do you guys normally do in a year? Are you guys out like every other weekend, a couple times a month?
Usually at least once a month. It just kind of depends. Last year we ended up doing like 20 shows or something. This year we did about, I think we're going to do about 10 or 12 by the end of the year, so a few less. But yeah, we try to do like one show a month is kind of where we're at right now. Again, we're kind of cutting that back with all the work Ashley has. So I don't know, we were kind of at one point, taking absolutely any show we could get on just to get out there and do stuff. And now it's to the point where it's tough to do that. We got to really kind of be careful of how much time we spend at the shows versus actually at home getting the work done.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. You guys also, you're the guy running Counticon. So last year, did you actually make it through clear skies, no rain?
Actually, it's hilarious. No, it still rained like crazy. And really overall, the whole show thing did not go well. And with all the stuff that Ashley started picking up and with the other Cold War stuff, that we just ended up deciding that was going to be the last year we did it. So we didn't plan anything for this year. We just kind of rolled straight through it and have been just working on Cold War, purely that, and not doing anything with the shows anymore.
Okay. Is that something that maybe comes back in the future, or it's just...
probably not. For me personally, I think at this point, I don't think there's enough time or even like interest anymore to be able to do something like that. I think I'm pretty much where I want to be, and kind of doing what I want to do. I don't think I'll end up taking on anything like that again, but who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Cons are not, unless you're like Wizard World or Gen Con, they're not money makers for, small cons.
Yeah, they're tough. And it is. It's not even that, the money's so bad so much as just like the amount of time is just insane. It's just you're literally working on it. The day the show's done, you have about 2 days off and you're already working on the next show. And there was just no more time for stuff like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's all right. I mean, it's a cool experience. So you're able to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't regret doing it. I mean, we had 4 pretty awesome years. and learned a lot. And it was just more, more experience for me. So always good.
Cool. And what's coming up for Team Ash? What other irons you guys have in the fire? Shows coming up? What's going on?
So yeah, Cincinnati this weekend. We're doing a show in Chicago next month. That's that Ace Universe show at Navy Pier. And then we're at Daytona Beach in November. I think that's all we've got the rest of this year is just those 3 shows. Aside from that, we're working on some projects with Cold War, working on the expansion for Squarriors, the card game, working on Cigarettes and Carrot Juice a little bit in the background. Yeah, that's our web comic. Again, it's been kind of slow going. We just kind of slide a page in there every once in a while when we can do it. And yeah, Ashley's just doing covers, doing Marvel stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much our year. And getting this Kickstarter, locked down and funded and getting Squarriors out by the end of the year here.
All right, cool. And you guys are close. I mean, it's I'm on right now 15,390 out of 20,000 goals. So, there's still 21 days to go. So you guys should blow past that, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're probably going to do all right. We'll probably do pretty good being out here at the con. We'll be able to talk to some people. We're planning on, giving out some variant cards and things like that here at the show for people that are back in the Kickstarter. So we've got some plans to get some stuff going.
Okay, cool. And I'm looking at the picture of Ashley holding up the hardcover book. I mean, it's like coffee size table book. It's huge.
The hardcover is pretty big. And it looks, the artwork obviously looks gorgeous on the huge format like that.
Mm-hmm. It's such an awesome image too, with the claw and then the face and the claw. It's just so good. Does she take commissions?
She does do commissions, not anymore this year, but yeah. That is a thing we kind of do.
All right, cool. All right. I could pick your brain as far as like music. That's all I have prepared. I just wonder, like, I had something that just totally went away. God damn it. Shit. So what do you have? What's going on with you?
Waiting for our food to get here. We ordered some pizza from, I don't know, actually the same pizza place we got last time we were in Cincinnati. I've been thinking about for like a year. So hopefully that's coming soon because we're friggin' starving. When I was telling you, so we first got to our hotel tonight and got in there, went to go like check in. And they said, yeah, we got you guys, but you're not here until tomorrow. And, I'm thinking it's like, oh, we got this podcast in a couple hours and, there's the game going on. So everything is completely packed. Every hotel is totally booked. Like the streets are packed with people going to the games and stuff. I'm trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do. But we're staying with my my Cold War buddy right now, and game's still going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we'll be back in our place, tomorrow, which is like right across the street from the convention center. So, but we're gonna end up having to get up like super early, get all our crap back downstairs, get over to the right hotel, get all of our stuff put in there, and then get in there and get everything set up, so we're ready for the show tomorrow. So.
Nice. That's cool. I know you're in Cincinnati. Have you ever had the chili out there?
No. It's one of those things that everybody always kind of brings up. Like I've gotten the chili that they have like at the convention center. They have like, some kind of thing there, but I haven't gotten anything special since we've been out here, unfortunately. I am a fan of chili though.
So when you're at different convention stuff, you try to like get out and sample the local flavor if you can, well, I know you don't drink, but I was gonna say breweries, but like a barbecue place or like any kind of like specific like food stuff and whatever.
We always try to just kind of hit whatever's cool, that's local and close,
Yeah.
But that being said, it's like we do like so many shows and we're in so many different cities and so many things that I never can remember like where we ate last time or if it matters where we're going, so many times just like, let's just get to a IHOP, let's go eat at IHOP and let's get back on the road. And,
right.
So it just kind of depends, once you've been to some of these cities 6 or 7 times. You're not really thinking about trying to take in the culture. You're just kind of there for work, and then you go home.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can see that. I was at a convention up in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, and I had my first time eating at a Waffle House. They heard nothing but horror stories about Waffle House. I tell you, that one was pretty good. I mean, the bar was set pretty low, but I was like, "Damn, this is not bad."
I've also only eaten at one Waffle House ever, and it was in like Tulsa, and I had no problem with it. I liked it. I guess it was one of those things too, where it was like 4 in the morning, and so it's like anything seems awesome. At that point, it's like, yeah, Waffle House seems great. But I don't know. I don't know with the lights on if I'd go back, but
You're right. I mean, when you're at conventions, you get to do anything other than work. Like, do you get to get out and play games, or like just scope the floor out? I mean, is it just like you're pushing for the weekend?
yeah, it's a lot of pushing. I guess if I've got time to walk around and check stuff out, that's usually not a good thing. So it's like, I'm hoping to spend most of the time just kind of behind the table and signing stuff and talking to friends and fans and things like that, and hopefully making some money. And then really for the most part, you're so burnt out. Come to the end of the show, you're not really wanting to do anything too crazy afterwards. Sometimes we'll do some after party things. Some Devil's Due parties and whatever. But usually we just kind of want to get some food and get back home.
Yeah, crash out. Yeah. Or do you have a chance to play anything right now? I know, when we came on for the card game, it was like all Squarriors card game all the time. Are you doing any board games or any kind of other stuff? Or
No, nothing else really on board games. It's like I still play video games when I can. I got on some World of Warcraft when the new expansion came out, but that kind of died out on me pretty quick.
Hmm.
I still play some Overwatch. We do some streaming for Cold War, so I'll get on like twice a week now, and I'll play some Overwatch and some other video games and things. But board game front has been pretty slow. Yeah, because anytime I'm doing anything like that, it's just working on Squarriors or working on some of the other projects we're working on, some of the other games.
Sure. No PUBG or Fortnite.
No, actually, I played Fortnite for like closed beta on PC, but then it never really kind of grabbed me. I thought it had some cool ideas, and then it blew up and got big. But I haven't played it since, like I said, since like closed beta, I think. So yeah, no PUBG, not too much in the Fortnite. Pretty much just Overwatch, some 7 Days to Die. Man, there's just no time to play video games. It always feels like there's going to be time, and then it just doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, well, I feel that. I don't do board games, but I actually get to play quite a bit. I'm fairly lucky in that regard between, actual plays for the show and like we play board games at work. We got in trouble. We got in trouble for playing games. We overstayed our lunch. So that turned into like a whole thing, but yeah. So we do that. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Chaosium, the guys who do, Call of Cthulhu, they released an app game for Apple a couple of months ago, and they just released it for Android. So I downloaded that today.
Oh, okay.
So
is that working good?
I haven't. I did it like right before we got on. So I'm like, shit, I have to go do that later. It's like a story-based RPG sort of thing. It's text scroll, and I'm not exactly sure how it plays out. It's in beta now, so
right on.
I'll check that out. But yeah, I don't have anything. I don't want to keep you just to keep you if you don't have.
Well, yeah, I would just like to, anybody that's checking this out to definitely check out our Kickstarter. Of course, check out Squarriors, actually just go in there to there. We'll also take you to the Kickstarter. Check out coldwar.us. I guess, if you're in the area.
Oh no. You're froze. What if they're in the area? What do we do?
Just as we were getting to the end, we couldn't get that last like 30 seconds out of it. But yeah, if you're in Cincinnati, come to the Duke Convention Center. Come check out the show. Check out Devil's Due. Check out Cold War. Yeah, I'm hoping this food gets here. I'm starving. I want to get in bed. I want to watch hopefully some of this Cincinnati game. And Legends of Tabletop. What's up?
Awesome. Yeah, nah, just chilling. No, that's cool. There's links for everything in the show notes, so you don't even have to go anywhere. If you're watching this video, if you download this MP3 later after I post everything up over the weekend, all the links are in the show notes. You don't have to go anywhere, do anything. There's also a link for Legendary Brew. We have our own coffee blend. I know you're not a coffee drinker, but I'm going to tell you it's fantastic. If you were going to drink coffee, the Legendary Brew would be the coffee you'd want to drink.
That would definitely be the coffee I would drink for sure.
So if people are interested in that, please check that out. It's roasted by our own Neil, has his own small craft coffee roasting company. So that's there. If you like everything, likes and subscribes is awesome. Reviews on iTunes or whatever your podcatcher of choice is. That's immensely helpful for us. It gets us boosted up in the algorithm so people see it. So we appreciate it when you do that. I want to thank everybody for coming by and checking it out. Thank you to Ash for coming on again, talking about Squarriors and hanging out, talking about whatever weird shit popped into my head. So thank you, sir.
And thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We kind of got it to work out here.
Yep. Not too bad. Only a little bit of editing for this one. That's all right. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys are welcome anytime. You guys have stuff going on. It's always a pleasure to have you on and talk to you about whatever random stuff is happening.
Well, we appreciate it, and I appreciate it, and thanks, man.
Sure.
And I don't know, are we hoping for the Ravens or the Bengals tonight?
I don't care. They're AFC teams.
It's like I'm in Cincinnati, so I guess I got to go with Cincinnati. I'm usually a Ravens fan, but like, go Bengals.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. I was just editing an actual play, and it was from like the day after the Super Bowl we played, and I'm like, oh, I'm still high on Eagles Super Bowl, and I'm like, shit, that's being released now. Damn. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. Since they won, I get to watch just about half of the games for the year, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, good for you having a Super Bowl team. Must be nice.
Hey, I didn't tell you to live in Chicago. You guys are right. You got at least one, right?
We got the one.
That's all right. That was a great team. And then we got your coach. We got your quarterback. Well, defensive coach. Yeah. Now on sports talk.
All right, I gotta let you go.
All right.
All right, man. Thank you for having me. Squarriors.com, Cold War, Legends of Tabletop. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next time.